Another day, another story. The 19 steel statues in the Korean War Memorial represent both a literal and symbolic tribute to those who fought in the forgotten war. The secret behind the 19 statues at the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., lies in the symbolic depth of the number itself and how it interacts with the rest of the memorial. The statues depict a squad of soldiers from various branches of the armed forces engaged in a reconnaissance mission. The number 19 is not random, it's symbolic, carefully chosen to honor the service members of the Korean War and to create a visual effect with profound meaning. Here's how it all works. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The symbolic number 38, the 19 statues, when reflected on the black granite wall next to them, appear as 38 soldiers. This number represents the 38th parallel, which is the latitude line that historically divided North and South Korea, as well as the demilitarized zone that still separates the two nations. A sense of perpetual movement, each statue is designed with expressions of tension, vigilance, and determination, capturing a moment in time. Together, they convey the feeling of a mission that's never-ending, echoing the ongoing state of conflict and remembrance for those who served in the Korean War. Reflection of multinational forces, the statues represent various backgrounds, reminding viewers that the Korean War was a United Nations effort, not just an American one, with soldiers from different nations standing together. Time of day and lighting, the design incorporates lighting that emphasizes different aspects of the statues and their reflections at various times, creating an atmospheric, almost ghostly effect, particularly in early mornings or at dusk. The result is a haunting and respectful commemoration, symbolizing not only those who served but the ongoing hope for peace in the Korean Peninsula. The Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., which was dedicated in 1995, commemorates the sacrifices and efforts of a diverse group of American, Korean and other United Nations forces who fought for 3 years in what many in the U.S. refer to as the Forgotten War. The memorial's design was chosen from among some 500 submissions in a national competition, announced in 1988. The winning design, created by 4 Penn State professors, is made up of 5 deeply symbolic components, but perhaps the most salient theme of the Korean War Veterans Memorial is the number 19. This is the number of statues that are positioned throughout the field of service, the triangular green area that is flanked on both sides by the walkways leading towards the inner part of the memorial. The 8-foot-tall steel statues weigh around 800 pounds each and represent a cross-section of the service members who fought in the war. Among those depicted are 12 Caucasian, 3 African American, 2 Hispanic, 1 Asian and 1 Native American. The statues also represent the 4 branches of the military that fought in the war. They include 14 Army, 3 Marine, 1 Navy, and 1 Air Force member. The design aims to reflect the inclusivity of all Americans who served, says Michael M. Britch, a veteran and former member of the Secretary of Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee on the Readjustment of Veterans. The statues are scattered throughout the green area to evoke an advance party trekking out from the tree line and wading through the landscape of Korea. The statues are surrounded by patches of juniper bushes and the ground is punctuated by polished granite strips that represent the rice paddies of Korea. The troops are dressed in thick ponchos which are sculpted as if they are fluttering in the cold winds of Korea. Reflections of 19 statues are key to tribute, but why 19? The explanation lies in the fact that the soldiers' reflections are also a key feature of the memorial. The 19 statues in the field of service, plus their reflections, equal a total of 38 visual representations of soldiers. This total, says Britch, is a symbolic reference to the 38th parallel, the line that divides North and South Korea, which remains a potent symbol of the war and its unresolved status. 38 also references the total months of fighting that made up the conflict. What is the Korean Demilitarized Zone? The Korean War began in 1950 when North Korean dictator Kim Il-sung advanced his troops past the 38th parallel to seize Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Warfare ceased in 1953 after 38 months of fighting. The armistice, the negotiated settlement that stopped the war, established a new boundary that separated North and South Korea at the 38th parallel. This armistice remains in effect today and, since neither side signed a peace treaty, the war never formally ended. The original design for the memorial originally included 38 statues, but the design was modified after concern from members of the Commission of Fine Arts that the scene of this many troops in the middle of combat would look too realistic. Other tribute features: mural wall, pool of remembrance. The mural wall, which reflects the statues, lines the south side of the memorial. Made of 41 panels of granite, the 164-foot wall is etched with 2,400 images of servicemen, equipment, and people that were found in the photo archives of the Korean War. The images, which were sandblasted, are grouped by images relevant to each service branch and highlight the efforts of diverse citizens in the war effort. Along the northern side of the field of service is the United Nations curb, which names the 22 nations that participated in the Korean War. 17 of these countries contributed combat units while 5 provided medical support on the field. As the visitor passes the field of service, and the mural wall and UN curb that bound it, they step into the tip of the triangle, which juts into the circular pool of remembrance. Surrounded by a grove of linden trees, the reflective pool is encircled with benches where visitors can pause and reflect. One end of the mural wall extends into the pool and features the solemn phrase typed in 10-inch letters, "Freedom is not free." The most recent addition to the Korean War Memorial is the Wall of Remembrance, which is placed on the far edge of the Pool of Remembrance. The wall features the names of the more than 36,000 Americans who died in the war, as well as the more than 7,100 Koreans who died while supporting the army. The Wall of Remembrance was dedicated and opened to the public on July 27, 2022. A perpetual mission, the soldiers are depicted as if in mid-mission, cautiously advancing. This pose creates the impression of eternal vigilance, a tribute to both the veterans of the Korean War and the ongoing pursuit of peace. The Korean Armistice Agreement, signed in 1953, ended open hostilities but did not bring about a formal peace treaty, leaving a symbolic and literal legacy of unresolved tension. The soldiers' cautious gaze and frozen movement echo the war's unfinished nature and the hope for eventual peace. Visitor experience, a haunting ambience. The memorial takes on a different tone based on the time of day and weather, heightening the emotional impact for visitors. On foggy or rainy days, the statues look almost lifelike, as if patrolling the grounds. At dusk, the lighting around the memorial casts eerie shadows, intensifying the sense that these soldiers are on a permanent watch. Each element of the Korean War Memorial, from the statues and reflections to the Pool of Remembrance, was crafted to tell a layered story, honoring not only the soldiers who served but the impact of the war itself. This forgotten war is, in fact, enshrined in powerful symbols that ensure it will always be remembered, reminding us that freedom has a price, paid by those willing to fight for it. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.